We didn't really buy this house, the bank did. My father's voice carried across the empty living room of the $520,000 retirement home I'd just purchased in cash, his finger pointing directly at me like I was an ATM machine instead of his daughter, who'd spent 7 years building a tech company to afford this moment. The realtor, a polished woman named Jennifer with a fake sympathetic smile, nodded knowingly before turning to her assistant and stage whispering just loud enough for me to hear. Must be nice to have a daughter who's a walking AM. Some people are just born lucky with their parents' money, I guess. But what neither Jennifer nor my ungrateful father knew was that the closing documents sitting in my car had only one name on the deed, mine, not theirs. And as I stood there watching them plan which furniture would go where in a house they didn't legally own, I had to ask myself, was I really about to let them live rent-free in my $520,000 property after being called the bank? Or was it time to remind everyone that banks actually charge interest? Let me back up and explain how I became the daughter who bought her parents a $500,000 house only to be treated like an impersonal financial institution. I'm Cassandra Way, 34 years old, founder and CEO of Cascade Analytics, a data analytics firm in San Francisco that I started in my garage 7 years ago. We provide predictive analytics for healthcare companies, and last year we hit $18 million in annual revenue. I've done well, very well, through 80-hour work weeks, strategic decisions, and a complete absence of a social life for most of my 20s. My parents, Donald and Patricia Way, immigrated from Taiwan 40 years ago with nothing. They worked brutal hours, dad in a restaurant kitchen, mom as a seamstress, to put me through UC Berkeley. They sacrificed everything for my education, and I've never forgotten that. Which is why, 6 months ago when Dad called to tell me they were retiring and couldn't afford to stay in their Bay Area apartment, I immediately offered to help. "Cassie, the rent is going up again," Dad said, his voice tired. "We're paying $3,200 for a one-bedroom in Daly City. On Social Security, we can't sustain it. Move to Arizona," I suggested. "Phoenix or Tucson. Lower cost of living, warm weather, good for your health." "We've been looking," Mom said, joining the call. "Houses are still expensive. We'd need to take out a mortgage, and we're 70. No bank will give us a 30-year loan." "I'll buy you a house," I said without hesitation. "Cash. No mortgage. You pick the place, I'll handle the rest." The silence on the line was long. "Cassie, that's too much," Dad finally said. "You paid for my entire education. You worked yourselves to exhaustion so I could have opportunities you never had. Let me do this. Please." After some convincing, they agreed. They found a beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Scottsdale, Arizona, a 55-plus community with a pool, clubhouse, and golf course. Listed at $520,000. I paid cash. I thought this would be a moment of joy, of coming full circle, of honoring their sacrifice with my success. Instead, it became a masterclass in being taken for granted. The problems started during escrow. I'd given my parents power of attorney to handle the logistics since I was busy running my company in San Francisco. They were in Arizona full-time, viewing properties, meeting with realtors, coordinating inspections. My first hint of trouble came from their realtor, Jennifer Ashford. She called me directly, unusual since all communication was supposed to go through my parents. "Ms. Way, I wanted to discuss the home inspection findings." "Okay, what's the issue?" "The AC unit needs replacing. About $8,000. The sellers won't cover it. Are your parents prepared for that expense?" "I'm buying the house. I'll cover the AC unit." "Oh," she sounded surprised. "I thought they were buying it." "It's a gift. I'm purchasing it for them." "How generous. Though I hope you're not depleting your savings. These purchases can be impulsive." "I'm paying cash. My savings are fine. Order the AC replacement." Something in her tone bothered me, but I dismissed it. People make assumptions. Whatever. Then came the final walkthrough, 3 days before closing. I flew to Arizona to be there, wanting to share this moment with my parents. That's when everything fell apart. We arrived at the house, me, my parents, Jennifer, and her assistant Brooke. The house was beautiful. Pristine desert landscaping, mountain views, open floor plan perfect for aging in place. Mom was crying happy tears. "Cassie, it's perfect." "Thank you." Dad hugged me. "You're a good daughter." Then Jennifer started taking photos for her social media. "This is such a heartwarming story. Parents achieving their retirement dream." "Actually," Dad said, "we didn't really buy this house. The bank did." He pointed at me and laughed. She's the bank. We're just the lucky recipients. Everyone laughed, including Mom. I smiled tightly, feeling uncomfortable but not sure why. Jennifer stage managed more photos. My parents on the porch, in the kitchen, by the pool. These will be great for my Instagram. #retirement goals, #dream home, #family first. I noticed she wasn't including me in any photos. When I asked about it, she said, "Oh, these are for the buyers. You're just the financial person." No offense, just the financial person. At the house I'd bought. Then came the moment I overheard her talking to Brooke near the garage. Must be nice to have a daughter who's a walking ATM. Some people are just born lucky. Their parents' money sets them up, then they play generous benefactor. Brooke laughed. Seriously. Meanwhile, we're out here actually working for our money. I stood there frozen. She thought I'd inherited wealth. Thought my success was handed to me. Thought I was playing generous instead of honoring a genuine debt to parents who'd sacrificed everything. But what bothered me more was that my parents didn't correct her. Dad had literally called me the bank. Mom was nodding along, like I was an ATM dispensing money instead of a daughter who'd worked herself sick to afford this gift. That night, alone in my hotel room, I pulled out the closing documents I'd picked up from escrow that afternoon. I'd reviewed them quickly before, but hadn't focused on the details. Owner, Cassandra Way. Sole owner. Not joint ownership. Not a transfer deed. My name alone. I'd structured it this way intentionally for tax purposes. Gifting the property outright would trigger gift tax complications. So my attorney suggested I purchase it in my name and allow my parents to live there rent-free as a gift. Legally cleaner. Financially smarter. But now, looking at those documents while replaying my father calling me the bank and Jennifer calling me a walking ATM, I felt something shift inside me. I called my attorney, Marcus Rivera, at 9:15 p.m. Marcus, the Scottsdale house. I'm the sole owner, correct? Correct. Your parents have no legal ownership interest. What's the market rate rent for a 3-bedroom in that community? I'd estimate $4,000 to $4,800 monthly. Why? Just curious. If I wanted to charge them rent, I could. Legally? Yes. You own the property. But Cassandra, that would change the nature of the gift. What if it's not a gift anymore? What if I'm reconsidering the arrangement? Marcus was quiet. This is about more than real estate, isn't it? They called me the bank. The realtor thinks I'm some trust fund kid playing with inherited money. Nobody seems to value what this actually cost me. What did it cost you? 7 years of 80-hour weeks. No vacations. No relationships. I built a company from nothing, so I could help my parents retire comfortably. And they're treating me like an ATM. So what do you want to do? I thought about it. I want them to understand that generosity has limits. That being ungrateful has consequences. Then maybe it's time for a difficult conversation. The closing was scheduled for 10 a.m. the next morning. I arrived early, requested a private room with my parents before the signing. What's wrong? Mom asked immediately, sensing my mood. I placed the closing documents on the table. This house is in my name. My name only. Legally, I'm the sole owner. Dad frowned. We know that. For tax purposes, you said. Right. For tax purposes. But also because I'm the one who bought it. With money I earned building a company from scratch after working 80-hour weeks for 7 years. Cassie, where is this coming from? Dad, yesterday you called me the bank. You pointed at me and told Jennifer that you didn't buy the house, the bank did. Then Jennifer told her assistant I'm a walking ATM, who was born lucky with my parents' money. Mom's face flushed. She said that. She did. And you both heard it and said nothing. You let her believe I'm some spoiled trust fund kid instead of someone who built every dollar of my success through work you should understand, since you worked just as hard your entire lives. We didn't hear her say that, Dad protested. But you did call me the bank. And you've been treating me like a financial resource instead of your daughter who wanted to honor your sacrifice. Silence filled the room. Finally, Mom spoke quietly. Cassie, we're grateful. Are you? Because grateful people don't refer to their daughter as the bank. Grateful people don't let realtors mock their daughter's generosity without correction. Dad shifted uncomfortably. What do you want from us? I want you to understand what this cost me. Not just the money, the years of work, the relationships I didn't have time for, the life I put on hold to build something successful enough to afford this gesture. We know you work hard. Do you? Because yesterday it seemed like you thought this money just appeared. like I was a bank dispensing funds instead of a person who earned every dollar. I pulled out a rental agreement Marcus had drafted, just in case. Market rate rent for this house is $4,800 monthly. If I'm the bank, then maybe we should treat this like a business transaction. Mom's eyes widened. You want us to pay rent? I want you to appreciate what you have. This house isn't an entitlement. It's a gift. And gifts can be revoked. Cassie, this is ridiculous. Is it? Yesterday you told a room full of strangers that you didn't buy this house, the bank did. You reduced your daughter's generosity to an impersonal financial transaction. So maybe we should make it an actual transaction. Dad stood up, angry now. We sacrificed everything for you. And I'm trying to honor that sacrifice. But you're making it impossible to do that with gratitude when you treat me like an ATM. The room was silent except for my mother's quiet crying. I don't want to charge you rent, I said, my voice softer now. I want to give you this house freely, with joy. But I need you to see me. Not as a bank. Not as a walking ATM. As your daughter who worked herself sick to be able to afford this moment. Dad sat back down heavily. We didn't mean it that way. But that's how it came out. And you didn't correct Jennifer when she reduced my success to inherited luck. You let her believe I was born into money instead of earned it. We're proud of you, Mom said. We're not good at expressing it. Then start. Because I'm done being the bank. The closing proceeded, but the atmosphere was different. When Jennifer congratulated my parents on their new home, Dad corrected her. Our daughter bought this house for us. She built a successful company and chose to honor our sacrifice with this gift. We're very grateful. Jennifer looked uncomfortable. Oh, I thought. Well, congratulations to all of you. After signing, as we walked to the cars, I overheard Jennifer talking to Brooke again. Did you know she built her company from scratch? Started in a garage 7 years ago. I feel terrible about what I said yesterday. Maybe don't make assumptions, Brooke replied quietly. Small victory, but I'll take it. That evening, my parents and I had dinner at their new house. Takeout on the floor since their furniture wouldn't arrive for 3 days. Cassie, Dad said carefully, I'm sorry for calling you the bank. That was disrespectful. I'm sorry too, Mom added. We got caught up in the excitement and forgot to honor what you did to make this possible. I don't need constant praise, I said. I just need to not be reduced to a financial resource. I'm your daughter. This was about love, not obligation. Dad nodded. We understand now. And we do see you. Not as a bank. As our daughter who became everything we hoped for and more. We sat in silence, eating lo mein on the floor of their new house. The house I'd bought, the house I'd worked 7 years to afford, the house that almost became a rental property because they forgot to see me as more than money. So, Mom said tentatively, the rent agreement? Torn up, I said. This is your home. No rent. No strings. Just, maybe remember that generosity deserves gratitude, not entitlement. We will, Dad promised. We will. The house is theirs now, not legally but in spirit. They moved in last month. They send me photos of their new furniture, their garden, their neighbors. And they've started ending every call with, thank you, Cassie. We appreciate you. It took almost losing their gift to remember it was a gift at all. Sometimes people need to see what they're about to lose to understand what they have. I'm glad we figured it out before I actually charged them rent. Though I kept the rental agreement, just in case. You never know when you might need to remind the bank's customers that banks have terms and conditions.